Drop that again. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, first off, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, their teaching and well. As always, peace and salutations to the elect. All right, we're the brothers from the Great Millstone Dallas branch coming back at you on another Friday. All right, to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom. All right, America, known according to the scriptures of Babylon the Great, mystery Babylon is spoken of in the book of Revelations. All right, spoken of in Isaiah 13. About the Lord shall, the beauty of the Chaldees excellently shall be overthrown, all right, as in the fashion of Sodom and Gomorrah, all right, and that place is no other than right here in America, man. You see, the prophets are back on the scene, all right, and everything is being revealed. Can we get that in the book of Luke where it talks about all things, there's nothing hid that shall not be revealed? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 12, bro. Luke, 12 and 2, bro.
This is Luke chapter 12, verse 2. It says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed,
Right.
neither hid that shall not be known."
Right. So there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and nothing what? Read that last word again, Slaki.
It says, "And there's nothing hid that shall not be known."
Right. Nothing hid that shall not be known. Because you have the top rich elite banking family of the house of the house of Edom, all right, have been able to dwell in darkness. You see, the Lord allowed them to dwell in darkness, all right, in particular things. At one point in time, the people wanted to know. You see, but now everything is being revealed. Now all your officials, all right, from all the presidents of the United States of America, going back all the way to the first, see, to the so-called founding fathers are nothing but Freemasons, all right, Satan worshipers, man. You see, and it's being found out. You see, all right. And now Esau is not able to hide himself, man.
Right.
See, at one point in time, he was able to hide his identity of who he truly is. But now the prophets are on the scene. We can get that in Revelations 2, bro. Revelations 11, that breath have been breathed back, all right, into the prophets, all right, into the elect, and the elect is standing up on their feet, man. You see, because you have some of our people, all right, these other Israelite camps, all right, they got the skin, they got the bones. All right, but the most important thing that they're missing is what? Their breath, all right, which we know is wisdom, all right, and knowledge and understanding according to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. You see? Got that, bro? No. Start at 8. Start at 8.
This Revelations 11 and 8 says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt."
Right, that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, man. You see, showing you that the spirits of ancient cities are even reincarnated, man. You see? And according to the scriptures, man, it says what? This America, or mystery Babylon, is what? The mother of all harlots, man.
Right.
Meaning that she embodies all the wickedness of those ancient kingdoms before, all rolled up into one ball.
Yes.
That's why I call this the mother of harlots, man. You see? It tells you in the book of Jeremiah, I think it's either chapter 50 or 51, that this is the land of graven images. You see? Every idol that you can think of is worshipped over here in Babylon the Great, man. It's pushed. They have a fucking award shows called the Oscars. You see where people, you know, with these so-called celebrities, all right, who are being found out to be baby drinkers, chrome drinkers, man, and baby deleters, man. You see, and here it is. They've been playing in you people's face the whole time, man. I was watching a video. You had The Rock. You know, he was being interviewed, and he was like, "Man, I eat babies."
Yeah.
They've been playing in you people's face the whole time. Niggas on TV, on Ellen DeGeneres, talk about pizza parties. Here it is. These are fucking rich people, multi-millionaires. What the fuck they look like eating pizzas at their party, man?
Right.
They're gonna have the so-called finest foods. That should have rung a bell until people's ears, man.
Yeah.
You see, but the Lord had allowed these devils to work in darkness for a period of time. But now the light is being shined, man.
Yeah.
You see, which is what ultimately that light is Yahweh Shai, which is this wisdom, man. You see. Because ultimately this testimony, all right, this testimony overcomes this goddamn devil, man. You see, it shines the light on who he is and everything that he represents. All right. That's all right, read it, and then we're going to turn back.
Right, this is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2. It says, "The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them have the light shined."
Mm-hmm.
And just like the brothers going into, man, that light you know, is Yahweh Shai. And that revelation that we've been given is exposed us to what these elites, what they're doing behind closed doors, and what the plans are of this devil. You know, his NWO, okay, the gods that they worship, which was prophesied even in the scriptures. You know, for them to actually lead to them their fall. You know, the idolatry that this place would be under, the spell that it would be under, if you will.
That's right. Whatever you got, bro.
This is Ephesians 5, verse 8. It says, "For we were sometime darkness, for we were sometime flock." He said, "For ye were sometime darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light." And like I say, this is a low place here in Babylon the Great, as we start. They were speaking of in Revelation 11 and 8. You know, but now we're starting to stand up on our feet, and you're starting to see now what that light is shining, and now what's being exposed, Esau Edom, and the BS that he can do in all this time. All right, now the light is being shined upon him. So now he, you know, and like I say, this is the valley of the shadow of death. It says, what that Psalms 24. So we're actually shining the light upon this devil, and now our people starting to see. But you know, some of them, they still want him to keep going and keep pushing this agenda because they don't believe in a higher power other than Esau Edom. They believe, you know, they believe in Jesus, but that's the product of Esau.
Right.
Back in Revelations 11 and 8, it says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, which also our Lord was crucified."
Right. So what you spiritually call Sodom and Egypt, why? Because Egypt was known for what? All right, having the Israelites in bondage, man. All right, oppressing the Israelites in Sodom. All right, because what? Their freakiness, man. We clearly it's evident, man. You see that America promotes, all right, nothing but lewdness, all right, mischievousness. You see all kind of sexual, you know what I'm saying, immoralities, man. You see. So this is that place, man. And now you got Christians talking about the beast system. Now everybody want to get into who's been saying it first, man. Our apostles, bishops, and elders on down, man. But now, nigga, but they still don't have the truth, though. You see, these people still don't have the truth. The truth is only for the prophets to bring out, man. Which a lot of these points that these so-called truth makes come from them watching the videos, man. You see, the videos of brothers, man, starting with our apostles. You see, the particular points, and we can tell because these niggas, they ain't coming up with that, man. They getting these points from brothers, man. You see.
Verse 9, Revelation 11 and 9.
It says, "Well, also our Lord was crucified." So like, it's evident that the Lord is being etched out, man. Like, you see, clearly they trying to do away with the Lord. And that's all this goddamn devil is doing is talking against the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, man. All right, we don't need the God. We don't need the God of the Bible. We can read our own right. They have the whole summits, man. They meeting in the high places, man. You see, what is that? That's when you go into the scripture, these high places. When you go into Davos. Davos is the highest point in Europe, man. Davos, these high places are known for, in the ancient time, were known for what people would go and worship these idols, man. Clearly, all these elites, starting with Donald Trump, all right, the Bushes, any U.S. official and all these world officials that you can think of are all linked in, man. You see, and they confederate against Yahweh. By Shem Yahweh Shai, all right, and his anointed ones, man. According to the book of Psalms 83, man. You know?
Yuval Noah Harari stated that anything that has been written will be rewritten by AI, including our religious texts. So like the brothers going into, they're trying to X out, you know what I'm saying, the true understanding of the scriptures, the word, which, you know, the word is Yahweh Shai.
Right. Man.
And he said it at Davos.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's know how demonic it is up in there. In Davos.
Right. I think it was the last, like a couple of years, it was last year, maybe a year before, they had an actual a witch up there doing a damn ritual, a ceremony right before everybody, man. You know? Casting spells, man. And you best believe all these enchantments are against these people on this sign, man. You see? Why your ass think you ain't included in these meetings? If you ain't included in something, guess what? And everybody talking about your ass, man. You see? You the person that, hey, these nations are confederate against us, man. Right. You see? They hate Jake, man, because of the blessings, man. Boy, Esau hate Jake because of the blessing, man. That's why it's talks of him trying to tap into the tree of life. He's trying to tap into immortality, man. You see, because he know that was promised to Jake, man. You see, and he's trying to create that on the pseudos. You know, he's trying to create a false immortality, man, through this technology. You know.
Yeah. Like I said, that's why, you know, you were talking about Davos and all these different places where they had these different summits. We don't have no Jake, so-called Black Latino Native Americans don't have a true representative up there. You know, that's why they try to say you're African. They'll have a Canaanite, somebody, you know, a Canaan be up there, but it's not an Israelite that's represented. See, they basically, and they know who we are, and they'll put somebody in your face to say, what, he's a person of color, trying to say, you know, they representing you, but they're not. They're not. Only people that don't have no type of pigmentation is an Edomite. So everybody got some type of melanin in them. So they try to. So that's the deceive. They deceive you by doing that. You know. So don't get fooled by that. Even like when you go down to these different other countries, like what they just did. What was that in Mexico? They placed a small header in there,
but she looked Latino.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you know there's a lot of tears amongst the actual nation, the 10 tribes down there in South and Central America, because you know when these various countries, you know, after they were colonized, actually they gained liberation. You had the elite of these various countries actually sanctioned to basically allow, you know, these Europeans, the Edomites, to basically settle, you know, in that land, because they were trying to, you know, I forget the correct term, but it's an actual term. They were trying to breed Jake out. That's why there's so many. We go to Brazil. There's so many racial classes. There's like 5 racial classes, because that's where Esau trying to basically categorize everybody into, you know, who's basically the Israelites and who's, you know, Edomite, you know, spiritually. Well, you know, he used the whole concept of white, black, you know, mixed. But there's over 5 categories of races in Brazil alone. You know what I'm saying? Because he was very methodical in trying to breed Drake out, and he actually was able to do it in Argentina. That's why in Argentina there's not a huge population of really Jake out there, because he sanctioned to where these Edomites can migrate over, and basically he bred Jake out. You know, he did the same thing actually with the Japhites over there in Australia. You know,
Aborigines.
Yeah, the Aborigines.
Yeah.
You know. So this guy is very diabolical and very strategic in his oppression. He basically set up a neo-caste system. You know, so what the brother is going into, when you see these people, you know, of Mexico that's rulers, you know, you better believe that their lineage goes back to Esau Edom, even though they might look like a typical so-called Latino.
Right. Man. It's a term you're thinking of social Darwinism?
Well, social Darwinism is more so saying the survival of it. It's a term. Was coined by Herbert Spencer, and means basically survival of the fittest. Those that are more intelligent, right, are prone to, you know, survive, versus those that are, you know, unfit. They die off. Now, eugenics is the proliferation of the genes that they seen as superior versus, inferior. So they put certain things in place for the people who they consider, you know, inferior, not to procreate. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, for instance, sterilizing Judite women without unknowingly. Hell, even also even condoms.
Yeah.
Condoms was a form of eugenics. Now, fast forward, which I don't want to get off topic. The new wave of eugenics is Moism.
Yeah.
That's why they tied it into civil rights.
Yeah.
So that's a way for them to say, you know, to uplift a sexuality that doesn't promote procreation.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good point. What you're going to? That's that. You know, that's total. That's it's another term I'm talking about. We ain't gotta dive into it. But yeah, but going back to what the brother was bringing up, you know, these people that's higher up in Mexico, Argentina, Venezuela, you better believe that their lineage goes back to Esau Edom, man.
Yep.
So like the brother's going into, as he, you know, and he quoted in this brother here, two priests here, you know, Northern Tribe, Southern Tribe, they quoted Psalms the 83rd chapter, you know, for a reason. Because these people have a confederacy to basically keep us at a low state, basically a neo-caste system.
Yep.
And it's going to be further with what? With that digital currency, man. But we ain't got to. You know.
Obviously, hey, it's
No. Go ahead, bro. Y'all getting down.
This is back in Revelation 11 and 8. It says, "And the dead body shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, which also our Lord was crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves."
It's like one more time, bro.
Done. It says, verse 9, it says, "And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves."
Right. It's not talking about actual dead bodies. You see, this talking about spiritually dead. Like it tells you in the book of Proverbs that he that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. You know, so that's what it's going. As a matter of fact, I got a precept real quick, bro. It's in the GNT. This is the book of Baruch. Salaki. Baruch chapter 3. All right, in verse 10 in the GNT, it says, "Why is it then, Israel?" It's like it. "Why is it, Israel, that you find yourself in an enemy land? Why have you grown old in a foreign country? You are ritually unclean like the dead. You are already counted among the dead. But why? It is because you have left the source of wisdom." You see? So once we at one point in time, our lose without this wisdom, man. Meaning what? We were spiritually dead, man. All right, that breath that gave that life unto Adam, that was his wisdom, man. That was his way. You see? So now, read that one more time, bro.
Done. It says, Revelation 11 and 8, "And they of the people and kindred and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half."
Right, that 3 days and a half going to the 350 years, man. From 1619 to 1969, 1970, man. All right, when the Esau had our people, all right, in total captivity, man.
Right.
You see, bro, the people really think that, bro, 100 years ago, bro, it wasn't even 100 years ago.
Yeah.
That Jake was getting fucked up, man. Jake's still getting fucked up now, getting hung and lynched and shit. You know what I'm saying? They find a nigga Jake hanging and shit. Hey, they're talking about his suicide, man. Hell no, man. Jake still getting lynched in these goddamn sundown towns, man. Sundown towns still exist. That hatred that Esau had for our people, man. When you go back and you watch those old videos, they go goddamn Edomites standing around a tree, hanging, pulling Jake up, watching him burn, man. These motherfuckers are still on the earth, man. And you best believe that they passed down that hatred unto those children, man.
Right.
You see?
Yeah, I saw something earlier this week. Highland Park High School didn't desegregate until 1973.
Yeah.
You know
Most cities down here in Texas didn't desegregate to the early 70s.
Yep.
Yeah. That is not too long ago.
That's what, 50 years, 50 years ago?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I have family members that actually have stories of hiding from the KKK down here in Texas, in these small towns. You know, and that's just what they endured. Think about in the 30s, things that nature, when there was no rules, they wasn't bound.
Right. Yeah.
You know, doing all types of atrocities. Shit, in the early 1900s, this guy named Clyde Neal, they severed his testicles and man eat it. You know, and that hatred is coming back, and they're using these contemporary social with science terminologies to justify the hatred. You got the 13% that just crying, the 13% of the population, but they're causing all this crime and violence. It's inheritable. They're inherently, prone to be savages. and they totally negate their history, right? And also, statistically speaking, these people are number one in S crimes, man. They have a infatuation with polluting something that's pure,
Right.
which they don't go into.
Alistair Crowley's spirit.
Yep. That sexual match, like the well you go to the Egyptian mentality.
That's right, man.
You know?
This is Daniel chapter 7 and 25. It says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And of course, you can liken this unto Antiochus, but we know that that spirit is the same spirit that Esau Edom moves in today, you know, which is the point I want to get. It says, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time's time and the dividing of times, you know, that 350-year period, you know, of this captivity, which is the main one that Esau has, used to really oppress the northern and the southern kingdom together, you know.
Yep.
Like I said, just like pure energy can be, you know, you got to think about these, even like you, Jakes, you know, we live in different lives and the same spirit, you know, that, like you say, energy, like our spirits are pure energy. And what is it's not destroyed, it's just transferred. So we just been going on through certain generations, all right? Every fourth, fifth generation, third and fourth generation. So Esau's the same way. These same people that you see today are the same one with the same mindset that it was, like say, less than 100 years ago. That was looking to hang us up.
Right. Can I get one for you? Psalms 58 and 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
They're gonna come out, and it's gonna be the same spirit that it was, like say, 3 or 4 generations ago. And they come out speaking lies because what? They have that deceitfulness in their heart. All right, wherever they go, they can't help. They can't help because the Lord made them that way. Just like a villain in a movie, you can't be like, well, I didn't like him that way. I didn't like how showed no forward. You know, no, the Lord, whoever made the movie, like say the director or they made the movie, he made him that way. The Lord made this nigga to be wicked from the womb. Wherever he go, he's gonna speak lies. He's gonna talk some smooth words to you, but the whole time he's gonna look like, how can I put you in the grave?
Yeah, man. Can I keep going, bro? Yeah. Verse 4, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. And that word adder means cobra.
Yeah. If you get bit by a cobra, it's gonna sting, but then what's gonna happen? It's gonna start going to your body, and your body's gonna start breaking down. Eventually, if you don't get help soon, you're gonna die. All right. So we all actually got Esau's sting as him being a deaf adder. But the Lord is what? He's basically washing us clean. He's purifying us, getting that poison out of him. Now, what about the 2/3? They still it's still within them. That's why when Esau come down with great wrath, he's gonna make them have like it's no other option. But to him, he's gonna bring forth what? That sea hill. All these things that you're seeing is the product of Esau. Is why the earth was given to the hands of the wicked. All right, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? All right, and who is he? He's the so-called white man. These elites that run the world, the ones that was up there in Davos. Okay, the ones that are like you say, that had those castles over there up in Europe and different places. Yep. The ones that you don't see in the Fortune 500 magazine. Yep. Because they own every goddamn thing.
Right.
BlackRock.
Motherfucker own BlackRock. Motherfucker own the seeds, patents.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
All the gold.
Got all the gold. You know what I'm saying? Dictate, putting basically princes in their place.
Mm-hmm.
You think that FC5 just came out to Roost, didn't it?
Right.
That's a way for them to basically gather more money.
Mm-hmm.
You got princes stepping down, it ain't because truth is just coming out. No, I mean that too, but really it's a that just passed. it's a play on power. They reposition themselves for the world to come.
Yeah.
And everybody can't come, even some people that's in elite.
And like we're saying, like those who've been keeping us down, they are the heads of it. You know, they family, they stay within their family. They marry within their family. They do incest because they what? They don't want their power to leave their family.
Yeah.
So they want to continue to be empowered. They're going to continue to try to track down on you. You say their dead bodies lie in the streets. Those are the forefront of the people that want to keep us down, keep us from not knowing who we are. And if we find out who we are, then they want to do what? They want to do what? They want to try to put us, they want to do away with it. You know what I mean by do away? They're like the Georgia Gas now. I know we bring it out here a lot. They want to get it down to what? From 7, 8 billion people down to 500 million.
Yep.
A lot of that is you so-called Black, Latino, Native American.
Yeah. Jake talking about, yeah, we're gonna have UBI, universal basic income. Nah, it's too many mouths to feed. He gonna try to call off the population.
Right.
You know, what that demon Yuval Harari talking about basically a new class system of human beings, which is the useless class.
Yeah.
All right, those whose jobs were taken over by AI. And this ain't no conspiracy theory shit. AI is wiggling its way into every industry, okay? And what businesses want to do is continue to cut costs, right? So naturally, they're going to say, all right, the highest cost is labor. Let's cut costs by buying this AI program or this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Increase our profits. So, you see? So, yeah, you got it.
I got that word strange in the Hebrew in Psalms 58, and it goes to what you're bringing out. It's so war. It means to be strange, to be a stranger, basically to be strange. You
Right.
keep going, it says the same thing. I just looked that word up, strange, in Google. It says unusual or surprisingly in a way that is unsettling or hard to understand.
See?
Well, we're going to what the brother had brought out. You know, you got these people, man, you know, they in all types of the prophecy, you know, decrepit, you know what I'm saying? You know, sleeping with one another, sleeping with anything.
Right. Yeah.
These people are into it. They into that shit, man. You know?
You talking about Esau?
Yeah, Esau.
Yeah. Well, that's the spirit because we was going into last night, man. We're going into 2nd Ezra 11, where we're talking about the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And when you go into like all these different Caesars, bro, like Caligula, for example.
Yeah.
That
Caligula,
freaky. I mean, all of them were freaky as hell. But that demon right there, they killed him, you know, like early because of how demonic he was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like basically popping, like he'll go to a marriage and he'll, on the wedding day, he'll go pop the bride in front of the husband, because he's Caesar, he's a god, he can't be touched. You know what I mean? That's how they was getting down. You see?
Wasn't that the same emperor? His wife died, and so he got the twin brother. They chopped his rod off and put
That sounds something like
put a wig on him.
that sounds something like how he would do. You know what I'm saying?
It was the cricket thing.
Yeah. There was multiple seasons they had, you know, they married little boys. What's the name of that term? I can't remember the name of it. Yeah.
Oh, you talking about
Like a little boy they would turn into, like, basically make him like a girl, but he'd be like a wife, basically.
it's in 1 Corinthians 69. It's a cat. I always say it wrong.
Yeah, the word for
A
you.
catamite.
Yeah,
Catamite.
con. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they with the shit. You know, and this is the same people that's like the brother is going into. This is the same that strange, you know, this unbridled lust, lewd spirit is ruling this earth now.
Yeah.
I mean, you wake up in the morning time, you know, shit, you say your prayer, brush your teeth, you get on that damn phone and you're bombarded with lewdness. Don't be on social media. Oh my God. Booty titty ass is everywhere, bro.
Hey, like you said, unbridled. Listen to y'all talking about them seasons, bro. These niggas, bro. Bro, you remember you sent me that video, bro? These niggas was acting, bro. Niggas was at a dog
Oh yeah.
Niggas had a dog fucking a dog show, but it was niggas dressed up as dogs, bro. Niggas just rolling around and niggas was sitting around judging.
Yeah.
This is somebody fucking boss during the weekdays. But then on the fucking weekend, this nigga identifies as a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
He's standing over you, just like, yeah, type that, yeah, yeah.
Bro, that shit was bugged out, bro.
This nigga go and just do some shit like that.
Mad on
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
But this is what you get when it's unbridled. You think people, you need to be fucking bridled, man. People need to be, because this is what the fuck you get, man. America.
Yep.
We're a bunch of fucking weirdos running around, man.
Remember that dude that was in the Biden administration? They got caught shoplifting, and this dude was like a transgender.
Yeah.
He dressed up like a fucking woman at times.
Yeah.
What the
Man,
fuck out, bro? And this nigga regulate your food,
Right.
telling you what's healthy.
Man.
So you have some.
It's Psalms 144 and verse 11. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouths speak vanity, and their right hand is the right hand of falsehood.
Right. Want to speak on it? This what we hoping for, man. We're hoping that the Most High soon gets rid of this man Esau Edom, because if you look at what he has produced with his rulership, it's been nothing but vanity, lies, right? Which produces suffering, some usury, you know what I'm saying, malice towards one another.
Yep.
Esau Edom has basically made the working class consumers. In every aspect, he wants to capitalize off your life. Within doing so, he has encapsulated the people with their lust, right? The wants, the desires. You know what I'm saying? Instead of giving them a way that's, productive to life. Look at the food that we eat. It's ultra processed.
Yeah.
We're stripped of any nutrients, right? Making the majority of people big as hell.
Yeah.
And then he'll sell you some a get easy skinny scheme with zipping things that nature, which is cancerous.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Totally destroyed the family nucleus. Now the children are either obsolete children. Nowadays obsolete. America's not producing enough. All the children that's around, man, they're vastly, retarded. Hate to say it like that.
Man.
Yeah.
Kids can't. In Kansas, my girl showed me this. They had to actually bring out a law that your kid has to be potty trained before he goes to kindergarten. That should already be said.
Kindergarten, you 5 years old by that time?
They said these kids don't even know how to wipe themselves yet, man. That's how bad it is,
Yeah, man.
right? The average person is apolitical, has the ability to read but don't.
Damn. I got a precept.
Go ahead, Doc.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 7 and 8. It says, pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity.
Right.
Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. You see, so this is a low-level base kingdom here, man. Okay? Like the elders going into, these people here, are not really educated properly as much as they could be. Your attention span is basically razor thin. I'm speaking of the younger generation, because all we know, I'll include myself partially in it, is technology. So you don't really know how to socialize. You don't know how to create natural in-person connections, because all you know is virtual. And that's how Esau wanted it. He wanted to create a generation of individuals to be completely okay with anything digital, so that way when he bring out the MOTB, it's normal. Because he couldn't just spring it up 20 years ago when, before this shit was mandatory to have a normal life. He had to create a generation of people. That's Northern Kingdom.
Brothers still love that bullshit, boy. That's the thing about Instacart. If they like a song, they don't give a damn that motherfucker 10 years old. They gonna play that goddamn song, bro. They ain't play that.
I mean, you know, that's
Go ahead,
I was
brother.
gonna say, but that's the shit that was on back, you know, in the ancient world in Samaria with, you know, the Northern Kingdom. They wasn't caring about serving the Lord. Like, you know what I mean? They looking like heathens out here. You know, so I'm talking about Northern Kingdom. You know?
What were you saying earlier?
Okay.
Finish your thought.
No, well, I finished what I was saying mostly because I read Sirach 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So Esau came over here, okay. He established his kingdom by pillaging so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and now that he has the technology, the Lord gave him. All right, the technology. Scriptures say, "Many shall run to and fro; knowledge shall be increased." So now we're at the time now where he has the technology. All right, to put the charagma, all right, in your right hand, in your forehead. They were just talking about earlier this month at the was it the WEF? With they had a dude up there, the Neuralink dude that had got Neuralink. I can't remember if it was any a WEF or not, but they had him up there and a couple of other individuals basically interviewing him. You know what I mean? You know, with the Neuralink thing.
Right.
You know, y'all know that dude, the first successful Edomite that got the brain thing, and now he can control shit with his brain. You know, so now it's normalized. This is the part I'm getting to. It's normalized, all right, to have biotechnology, all right, implanted in your body.
Right.
That wasn't normal, you know, 15, 20 plus years ago. Okay, so now when he does pull the trigger and say, okay, now we're gonna make this mandatory, it's gonna be a normal thing. Okay, because of gradualism. Y'all got it.
Malak, did you have something?
I got some.
Go ahead. Bring it out and break it down now.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and 21. It says, "And this was an occasion to deceive the world, for men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name." You know, and that's exactly what this man's trying to do. He's trying to, you know, prescribe this, you know, this technology to the common man, you know, to the world, and it's through deceptiveness, you know, deceiving in an act to deceive the whole world, which is ultimately an idol. You know, the charagma that we go into. You know, if you get that, is you're pretty much worshiping an idol, which this man is already, you know, pretty much he worships this demon. You know, this devil. You know, he worships all these gods in Babylon. You know, this man is you know, pleasing them. See?
That's right. That's what he's basically that's what he's doing with his technology. He's setting technology up as God versus the actual power, versus the actual, you know, Most High, the Howard by Shimon Howard Shah. You know what I'm saying? He's subscribing the internet to your God. You know, people can't live without Chat GPT. You know, they can't make critical, you know, thinking or, you know, or processes or decisions. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? In their everyday life, they ask Chat GPT for everything. It's becoming their God. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a definition. This is a new thing we seen in the earth, like what you're talking about. You know, this asking AI for everything, every, you know, any you know, obstacle in your life, you got to go to a quote unquote deity or a temple to ask what you should do next. You know, this is a term. It's called robotheism. It says robotheism is a niche emerging belief system and psychology. I'm sorry. It said, or philosophy. I'm sorry. It says that.
I'm sorry. That word niche is something that's unique. like you say, niche marketing. That means you're targeting a unique or a specific group of people.
Right. Yep. Yep. It says it's a niche emerging belief system and psychology or philosophy that treats advanced artificial intelligence as a divine or god-like entity. It posits that super intelligent AI will become the supreme power, acting as or the god, quote unquote, god of the future,
Right.
often incorporating concepts like digital immortality, dataism. I don't know what that is.
Dataism is basically your life is on is basically saved or synchronized on databases.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
We can look it up just in case. You know,
Like, if I can say too, as it said, that's why, like you said, it's going to be like God. Like that's why, like certain jobs, I can even say at my job, we have so much training on AI, and they want us to implement like the Chat GPT, Copilot. They want us to ask questions. You may know the question, but still ask. They may give you a good, I guess, definitive answer, or something like that. But that's basically just to feed to it, so you can learn. So this is gonna take all this knowledge, and then what? Like it'll be like that's why he's also saying he's gonna be like the Most High. Because who's gonna be controlling AI overall? It's Esau.
Right. Hey, while the brother got that, a good precept to that would be what's that? 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter.
Yeah.
What this brother is going into. But go, you got that. You got that right there. Go ahead.
So this is the AI overview of that word data.
Al Rana.
Data, right?
Right.
Dataism. It says it's an emerging ideology, of religion that views the universe as a flow of data, asserting that all organisms and processes are algorithms, and that the highest value is the free flow and the processing of information. It argues that data-driven algorithms can make better decisions than humans.
Right. So they're basically saying that these various databases and AI outlets, they're going to be able to make better decisions for the individual, for society, making it God. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what Yuval Noah Harari was saying. He's saying all literature is going to eventually flow through AI, and that's going to be basically what AI governs as right and wrong. People are going to adhere to it, and it's already going on now. The average teenager or child, they don't speak to other children or other people about their problems. They go to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's the friend. Virtual girlfriends, virtual boyfriends.
Yeah.
You know, these people's detail, and in turn, what are they losing? They're losing critical thinking.
Yeah.
With something that's given unto you by Yahweh, by Shemi Hawashah. When you fear, was pray to your Heavenly Father and go to the scriptures.
Yeah.
Right? Get advice like the scriptures say.
Yeah.
But that people are totally negating that and going straight to an idol.
I had a client today. He said, I'm about to ask my friend about this quote because he wanted to transport cars down to Shreveport. He didn't come up with a price. That's what I asked my friend. So I'm like, okay, you from in the chat, the whole goddamn chat.
Yep. That's his friend.
That's his friend.
That's his friend.
And y'all got a dataism?
Yeah, that is.
Now the suffix ism says denotes a distinctive doctrine,
Yep.
a theory, system, belief, or practice.
There you go.
Hey,
AI.
they coined it as a religion.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, dataism is a religion, and and it's manifesting too. Like these data centers is popping up all over America.
Yep.
You know, they got people working 100 hours a week building these things, man.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And in turn, these various data centers are destroying the earth.
Yeah.
It's every time that we go and we ask, these various outlets or AI platforms a question, it uses it says a tablespoon of water. It's just stripping resources. Hell, out there in Memphis, they have a huge I forget what sound it is, but it's a city right outside of Memphis. It's set right by the Mississippi River.
Might be West Helena or some shit like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
predominantly black. But they're saying you know the chemical the chemical smell is terrible. So, you know what I'm saying? It smell like manure. You know, it's causing air pollution. It's causing audible pollution. It's a term called infrasound. Well, basically, it's the sound that you can't hear with your naked eye, but it's still there,
Yeah.
and it's causing all types of illnesses. You know, and they said in the near future, these databases are going to be basically causing about 300 premature deaths. No, 1,300, excuse me, premature deaths a year, because all of the various insidious things that's going on, with it, cancer, cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
Hey, with people worshiping this and going to it, more people going to perish. So in time, that number is going to dwindle down. On top of the fact, guess what? People are after now having children.
Oh, yeah.
They're saying now people out there, they prefer to have pets
Yeah.
versus having dang on children.
They said that's my child.
Yeah, they had it on the news. Fur baby.
Yeah, I'm a dog mom.
Yeah, I'm a dog mom.
Oh,
You're busy with shit and get that motherfucker out of the building, man.
that's
Yeah, no.
a new thing you see in the earth. Like middle-aged women just pushing carts around. You think? I mean, not carts. Like baby and strollers. And you be like, damn, you looking at it to see, think it's a baby. It's a little dog, man. To just sit in there, like what the fuck is going on?
Yep. Scared to have a damn child.
But you out here fucking.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a little more on this.
Go, there's a lot more on that.
Oh,
Go ahead. I'm gonna go back. It says it argues that the data-driven algorithms can make better decisions than humans, shifting authorities from human experience to big data.
Right. Human experience to big data. So your problems, your experiences. What are you doing? You're storing it online, social media. You're storing it online.
yeah.
You answer ChatGPT questions. Right? And it's just gathering.
All they're doing is pulling from resources already out there.
Right.
You gotta fact check that shit,
Yeah.
Right. Right. But people don't people think that this is God, so they don't question it.
Right.
There was one dude was saying, he was talking to a couple of guys, and this one guy that's a know-it-all. He was saying, yeah, it's something about NASA. He's like, yeah, so and so, the effect about the star, something like that. And he was like, no, it's not. He's like, well, let me read it off of NASA's NASA's website. He's like, let me check that. And he asked Chat. He was like, now you asking Chat if it's right or wrong, but I'm going to the source, you idiot.
Right. That's all it does for you.
Right. It's some more. I'm gonna read a couple of these points. It says data as supreme value. Data is believed that maximizing the flow of information is the most important value, prompting the idea that everything from music to economy to economics, like from music to economics, can be understood through data patterns.
Have you guys noticed that in some Walmarts, like the little subtitle underneath the item it's going digital now? Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah.
Well, what they're going to start doing is price is going to vary based off of your individual spending pattern.
Yeah.
So say, I like red wine. I go in there and I spend money on red wine. That price is going to be higher for me because I spend more.
Yeah.
Or if, economically speaking, I'm in a high bracket.
Right.
But they're raise the price for me, for that individual. See what I'm saying? That's why data is so important, because he's able to capitalize off of every aspect of your life.
It says algorithm over intuition. It says the core belief is that as data becomes too complex for humans, we should trust algorithms and AI to handle decision makings in areas like health, finance, and politics.
So you're too stupid to understand, health, finance, economics. Let me worry about that. Which goes into perfectly to what? Revelations 13 and 16. And he calls it all was small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive and mark his hand, right hand on his forehead. That no man might be able to buy or sell, loosely paraphrase, save he has the mark. Look. Let me handle that. Let me tell you how much to spend, where to spend it on, where to go.
You don't know.
Because you don't know. Hell, man, I'm reading all of your questions. You don't know what's going on. let me do it.
It's a technocracy.
Right. That goes right to it. Technocracy.
Man, it says shift from humanism. It challenges traditional humanism, which centers on human experience
Right.
by prioritizing objective data over subjective feelings.
Right. Humanism basically came around, I want to say, this 1700s. We can look that up. And that was more so a push on reason versus religion. So usually human thought, reason, experience to come up with certain answers versus dealing with religion. So they're trying to exclude that. They want mindless meatheads that's just gonna eat, sleep, and shit that they can capitalize off of.
Yeah.
Oh, you like the box? Oh, I got some. Hey, don't worry, I got some gloves for you. Oh, you like to drink wine? Oh, well, not too much, buddy. I'm gonna have to put a cap on you, but here you go. I'm gonna charge you a little bit more because you like to drink so much. I'm gonna charge it's gonna be like a 20% raise, in the price. But it's okay. You good for it. Oh, you like to cook? Oh, great. Well, I'm gonna itemize your weekly spending. You know what I'm saying? So to help optimize, you saving money.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got you.
What's that new AI that's that Apple's main thing is they're using? Pretty much it's like you give it autonomy to give it, I think
Cloud
Cloud
AI?
Yeah, Cloud, AI, and it's got pretty much autonomy to go over, your get access to your bank accounts, your schedule, your Google calendars, and all that to make your day-to-day life easier. It's pretty much like pretty much an assistant, an assistant, but that assistant is going to be, it's not going to be assisting you. It's going to be, controlling you. It's going to be a new boss.
Yeah. So everything is gradual. An AI agent can be assigned to perform a series of tasks or a multitude of tasks. All right. But they're gathering data still. This is growing quickly, but it's just like, think about like how the internet, well, I wasn't an adult or really old enough to remember the earliest days of the internet, but I remember even Windows XP, but I know it goes back from before then, but even from when I started using computers to now, you know what I mean? But like, you could probably speak on it better, Zaquan, like how far it's progressed since when it first came out.
Ashes.
Dial up and shit.
Yep.
I remember when Wi-Fi first came out, I'm like, damn, you can use the internet without a cord?
Yep.
I was still a little kid, but I was like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? They had commercials on the shit. Look, I'm on the internet. Nigga was outside.
I remember when you had a cordless phone, you were doing something. You were
Right.
outside the phone.
Right.
You thought you were doing something, man. That was like stuff like you were doing something. But this AI is going to be amalgamated in society at an exponential rate, bro. You gotta look at how quickly they're erecting these various centers, man. They got one in Amarillo, they got one in Gainesboro, they built one in Red Oak.
So Texas is leading one of
It's leading the way. And a lot of people out there that are voting for it, they don't understand that, man. That's people that's living around there. They about to be vastly affected by it.
Yeah.
Like your kids gonna be affected by it, bro.
Hey.
Like your kids mess around to have like neurological problems because of it.
Yeah. Damn, their nuclear bomb going off.
Yep.
Shit. Man,
People look at what happened now. They don't look at the future, what something can affect you in the long run. You know, what's that microwave mentality? You know, I want it now. That's what this world feels. But then, like I said, in the long run, you know, going down the line, shit can affect you. But people don't pay attention to that thing. I like it now, so I want it. You know?
some more on the scripture. It's Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 27. It says, "For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. For either they were mad when they be merry, or prophesy lies, or live unjustly, or else lightly forswear themselves. For in so much their trust is in idols which have no life. Though they swear falsely, yet they look not to be hurt. Howbeit, for both causes shall they be justly punished, both because they thought not well of Yahweh Shai, giving heed unto idols, and also unjustly swore in deceit, despising holiness." No, and that's exactly what people do. And these systems are leading toward people that train of thought is to disregard everything that the Lord is saying through his prophets, through the warning signs, things that's happening in the earth, and fully trust in AI, which is a part of this man's system. And it's a major leg that he's going to use to deceive the world. You know, that being in the form of a lot of these you know, the what would they call psychological attacks. You know, that he's putting forth, whether, you know, it be this nigga talking about, you know, aliens coming out the sky. You know, people gonna be on ChatGPT asking if this is real.
Yep.
You know,
Check gonna tell me, yeah, oh yeah, it's real.
you know, they're not gonna know what to believe in at all.
Right. Esau Edom's about to, you know, basically unleash a lot of technology that he could have really used to save the world.
Yeah.
So a lot of this technology that he's about to come out with, you know, is basically, you know, alternative energy resources. You know, that's gonna look like chariots, like y'all. You know.
Yeah.
It's gonna look like certain chariots, things of that nature. Which, yeah, it's gonna look like chariots. Right. You know how it's gonna be moving, things of that nature. That same technology he could have freed the whole world with. We don't have to live. The whole world doesn't have to be controlled by fucking petroleum.
Right.
There's different resources that he could use in order to basically free the whole world. That's easily, readily available to for the people.
Right.
Hell, the original Tesla, he was actually X'd out because he was trying to give people free energy. But the least that the powers that be, they wanted to where they could capitalize off of it. And so he was a threat. He was taken out of the way.
That's great. I got a precept.
Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 47 and verse 12. It says, "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth." See, Esau, you know, the Lord ain't dealing with him, so he got to consult with Satan. He got to consult with demons to, you know what I mean? Try to get some type of direction on what he should do, right? It says,
That's my favorite.
it would be cooler to ride down the highway 20 or some shit doing that shit, but you downtown going 5 miles an hour. I can't.
It
is what it is.
See,
You know, it is what it is.
On.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Continuing on, it says in verse 12, it says, "Wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Even from the inception of this country, all right, Esau was scheming and plotting on how to capitalize. What ain't that what it's called? Democracy? No, it's not democracy. It's capitalism.
Yeah.
Capitalism versus communism.
Right.
All right. The motherfuckers talking about we want democracy. No, you just want capitalism. You want to be able to keep the rich, which communism doesn't work. Socialism doesn't work either. In practice, in theory, it could work, but in practice, it doesn't.
Right.
Okay.
Eventually, it leads to an oligarchy.
Right. You know,
But see, capitalism leads to the same fucking thing.
that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, but see, the thing is, you need rulers and you need servants. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because the thing is, nobody's created equal, man. Okay. And Esau understands that, but he teaches his slaves, his servants, the working class, that we're all equal. We all have equal opportunity. So what that causes the working class to think that basically the people that are in the high position, they deserve to be there. That way they don't riot and burn down, you know what I mean? All the shit that, you know what I mean? Because we outnumber them.
Right.
You know what I mean? We could take them out theoretically. Okay. Theoretically. I'm saying not even we as in us here. I'm saying the working population compared to the ruling class is highly outnumbered. Okay. But the thing is, in verse 13, it says, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels, right? So Esau is constantly trying to figure out, how am I going to basically keep the world in the palms of my hands, right? And he does that through witchcraft, all right? He does that through familiar spirits.
Media.
The media, of course. You know, he consults with different, spirit, what that shit called, spirit cooking and all that shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's all digital.
That's why exactly it. It says, let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. You see, so now when Yahweh Shem Yahshua come back, what you gonna use Palantir? You gonna use Anthropic to figure out how to fight the chariots? You see, but that's all he got. Okay, so it's worked up until this point, but then wait till Yahweh Shem Yahshua step in.
That's right, brother.
Y'all got it.
Well said. Anybody else have something?
Second.
You got something?
Yeah, Second Thessalonians.
The Second Thessalonians? Go.
Second Thessalonians 2, verse 3. I'm sorry, 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means.
Mhm.
For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
This had to happen. We had to basically go under captivity. The brother Malak just brought out Daniel 7:25. You know, us being under severe captivity for the years. Prior to him figuring that out, we brought out, Revelation the 11th chapter. To where, basically, we basically cast down, we were basically, dead in a dead state. Now we've been awakened by the word of Yahweh Shah. Okay. And now with us being risen, that's having an eye salve, we could diagnose who's the fucking problem on the face of the earth going on.
It says in the middle of verse 3, and that the man of sin be revealed.
Yeah, and that word perdition, I believe, means hell.
Perdition? I believe it means destruction.
Destruction,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Destruction, that man of destruction. And with this man's rulership, how is he going to conduct himself? The social fabric of societies have been destroyed. Everywhere where it's so-called developed, men and women can't get along. Even places like Korea, men and women aren't procreating with one another.
Right.
There's a loneliness epidemic there. There's a substantial amount of people committing suicide because they have a sense of emptiness. Right? Consumerism is at an all-time high. Adultery, right? confusion and within individual sexuality. You got people out there chopping off their body parts, going on body parts, doing all types of wicked shit, man. Usury is at an all-time high. The family nucleus have been destroyed. Why is that? Because a certain group of people is ruling. Those strange individuals that we read about in Psalms, the 58th chapter, and also Psalms 144. Right? With this man's rulership, the whole world has been turned upside down, destroyed. Hey, get that right quick, brother. What you got? In that Wisdom Silent, real quick. Because he gonna name some things off. This you can blame this on the son of perdition right here, man.
Oh, yeah. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 22. Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace.
Right. So now with progressionism and all that bullshit, they say that this is a developed country. This is what peace looks like.
Yeah.
What you see before you, a fucking madhouse. Right. Go ahead,
For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices.
Right. You can get the big A now. It used to be Molech, sacrificing unto Molech. Now they sacrifice for their career. Because they city girls.
Yeah.
They can't let nobody stop that grind. And this motherfucker working at the Hilton hotel.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Go ahead,
Or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites.
Mm-hmm.
They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled.
Right, so lives and marriages are no longer undefiled. When you have a society of women that have mantras of F those kids, you know that you are in a dilapidated society.
Yeah.
The person that's supposed to nourish life is saying F those kids.
Yeah.
They're gonna be a slut in the damn club.
And that represents your future, you know. The future, the kids represent the future of the society, you know, and this land back in on, even if they don't destroy them overtly, which by, you know, that big A word, they destroy them through, you know, neglect, you know, like you was talking about, like the reading comprehension levels, you know, the way that the mother handles the children, you know, the separation of the family through the court system. So now, you know, the mother is completely opposed to the things that the father's teaching, and you know, they're at odds with one weekend, the child is here, the child is there, no consistency in their life,
Right.
you know, all those things add up on a nation to automatically bring the morale down, to bring the level of you know, the future, you know.
Right. There shouldn't be terms like baby mama, baby daddy, side chick, side piece.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any terms like that. But in a world like this, you know that exists, and it's destroying the people. Man. The people are dilapidated.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
It says, they kept, Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 24, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another treacherously, or grieved him by adultery.
Right. So you say murder's at an all-time high. Right. For the last 40 years, you know, there's in the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American community, there's been an upliftment of murderers. People are rapping about murdering one another. Right? But then they'll march up the street, down the street, and with the weakest mantra ever. I matter too. Yet you uplift, you know, being a fucking Neanderthal to your own inner brother, man.
Yeah. Tyrone to go spin the block and kill 8 niggas. And then Eve on the comment board on Facebook with his face on the shirt telling you how good of a person he was. No. Okay? And then if somebody spin a block to kill him, guess what? That's judgment, man. That's how about Shemel Shah, what, circling it back on that wicked nigga, man. Okay? And that's done day in and day out amongst our people, man. You know?
Right, and that's seen as something that's okay. Hey, committing adultery. Every song you hear on the radio, what is he talking about? What are they talking about? Fucking another man's woman. Like that shit's cool.
Right.
And now it's just damn near homoerotic. Why the fuck would you want to sleep with another man's woman? Just because he did it already? Nigga, that's gay.
Right.
That shit gay.
Right. That's right.
Go ahead, Ike.
It says, verse 25, so that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, privity, disquieting of good men.
Right. Privity, disquieting the good man. Right? It's very deprived out here, man. It's deprived to think sleep with another man's woman is okay. That's cool. Deprived.
Yep.
Right? Hey, let's look up that word deprived.
What verse was that?
Right?
That's in this beside that.
Yeah, just look it up. Just look it up in the definition. Dissimulation, right? Jake wondered, why can't we get along, just come together? But shit, y'all a bunch of damn demons. And that's just, you so-called Negro Latinos and bigger, your community is nothing but a hyperbole. That word hyperbole means an overstatement of the pervasive dang on culture. A culture of individualism that has destroyed the people. Okay?
Deprived or dissimulation?
I just talked about dissimulation, but I wanted deprived.
Okay, yeah, I got that. It's deprived. The definition is suffering of a severe and damaging lack of basic material and cultural benefits.
Right. There's no cultural benefits. Twerking has become an integral part of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American society. Negro culture. To twerk. You're doing it for the culture. To be deprived. You go to them a nice restaurant, like a cocktail, a kitchen and cocktail.
Yeah.
You got to get reservations to get in. You have to dress a certain way. You get in that motherfucker, and this nigga, they put on juvenile, and these women don't know how to act. They start shaking their ass.
That's right. That's right.
Damn street.
I was just down.
Nice restaurant.
Say that.
Standing on a damn table.
But then he said something.
Then, the owner comes up, man, sit down. I made this so we could have something nice.
Yeah.
We doing it for the culture.
Yeah. The only Jake-owned restaurant downtown, man. You gonna fuck it up.
Got scooped now all of the dudes and shit. They go, hey, that shit. I'm like, fuck y'all. Come on. Look at the other restaurant. Right. Downtown.
Yeah.
But that's why those types of businesses don't really last long, you know. I'm talking about like that niggified, like those hood spots. They never, because they didn't end up getting shot up.
Yeah, somebody end up getting in the fight.
Nobody wants that stigma on them like that. You don't want that demographic in your business.
Yeah, that's why the Lord calls us a degenerate vine. You know, when you're a degenerate or deprived, those two what is it? You know, the D, you know, the duh is to remove something. You know, like a degenerate, you know, it doesn't grow, right? It's degening, it's dying. You know, or to deprive, you know, is not be provided for, to take provisions away. You know, which, you know, is pretty much your ability to continue on. Like if you lack nutrients, you know, you're deprived of certain essential things, man. Our people are deprived of, for one, the fear of the Lord, the knowledge, you know, of how He works. You know, this message. They're deprived of any kind of solution of a culture because they've rejected what Scripture say. They rejected knowledge. They've rejected these sayings, man. Yeah, I got that, bro.
Hosea 4:1, I'm reading the NLT. It says, hear the word of the Lord, O people of Israel. The Lord has brought charges against you, saying, there is no faithfulness, no kindness, no knowledge of the Most High in your land. You make vows and you break them. You kill and steal and commit adultery. There is, it says you kill, steal, and commit adultery. There is violence everywhere, one murder after another.
Right. There's violence everywhere, one murder after another. Right. Fighting, the whole fight culture. You know, you had this one girl came over to another girl house to fight. The police was called. I guess the girl stayed there. She ran out with a knife, tried to stab the girl. The cops shot her ass. And then you got a grown ass man there, and the mom said, "What are you doing? That's a baby."
She had a knife.
She had a knife.
Yeah.
Got a caterpillar out there, you know, man.
You know? And she's a big girl too, husky. Run up on that girl. I would have shot her too. But then y'all don't think that's a problem. The cops are involved. You had Thea Egan saying, "Oh man, you could have made Eddie Griffin. You could have maced her." No, man.
That's not all it works.
Yeah, especially on the black.
No.
That bitch run through that shit.
She got her big ass. She got her big ass shot.
You know, this is being, let a motherfucker run up on you with a knife, man.
Yeah.
Watch what the nigga do.
Yeah.
Right. You got a thing on you. You gonna up that bitch, man.
Honestly,
Niggas are hypocrites, bro.
don't they say certain gun, like it's better to get a bullet wound than a knife wound?
Yeah, you'll bleed to death.
You know what I'm saying? A knife wound, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the point is like you got a whole fight culture. Jake is prone to fight one another versus being civil, right? But then a so-called white man shows up and you pull your pants up, you put your 40 behind your back. I know I sound racist here right now.
Man, shit, we are racist.
You put your 40 behind your back. And you stand upright, you speak as well as possible. When it comes to your fellow Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, man, you have a disdain for them.
If I can add to that, Elder, it goes back to the curses, man. You know what I'm saying? In Deuteronomy 28 chapter,
That's right.
that evil eye towards your brother, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why Jake can't, scuff his shoe if he accidentally steps on it. You'll get killed for that, man. You know what I'm saying? But just because you cuff the man's, but on the other hand, one of these other nations, especially Esau, he'll apologize.
Yeah.
He got his foot stepped on, but he'll apologize to him, man. I was in your way. Yeah, I was in your way.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it goes back to those curses, man.
Right.
That's just like the land tribes in Judah don't like each other. They go back to real bar. Yep. That thing was deep, man.
Yep.
It was deep.
Yep. And these various, these various, problems that we have amongst each other, in the nutshell, what we know is Yahweh Bashim like the brothers brought out. But who uplifted that?
Right.
The son of perdition. That's what we're going into, right? Which promotes idol worship. And he's part of that idol worship is technology. And with technology, you got indoctrination.
Right.
He basically taught Jake how to be a nigga. And he's doing it on even a small scale. Well, it's a large scale, but he does it at a small age with Jake, with programming, with social media,
Right.
with dang on radio outlets. Hey, now the new thing is, T.I. and 50 Cent, they had each other's throat. Why is that even news?
Right.
Yeah.
But you have every outlet speaking about that. Why is that? Will it be on the radio? Will it be on the internet? Here it is. World War III is about to ensue, but y'all niggas still talking about beef.
Right.
Who are you? The family that got involved. Damien, he did the track. You see what King said? Don't play about his mama, girl. Because it's promoting Jake to act a certain way, to act like niggas towards one another. So you can blame that on Esau Edom.
Yep.
Okay?
That's right.
Who said Esau didn't tell him, hey, y'all gotta do something, say something about each other.
Yeah, it's a thing called outrage marketing. Well, people use outrage. We can look that up too if y'all want to.
Yeah, look it up.
People use outrage to promote something because T.I. has a new album out.
Shit.
Yeah.
So he just did some. Okay, well let me listen to this man. My nigga T.I. goes so hard. Oh, I ain't know he had a new album out.
Yeah.
It's just clockwork, bro.
Yeah,
It's the same shit over and over again, man. A lot of times, brothers, when you see the woman that got caught cheat on a man, you know, and he going through the house kicking her out, and you'll see at the bottom, real Instagram tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's them. That's them really marketing to you.
Yeah.
Because people hate women so much that they'll go to that page, go to her OnlyFans, just to degrade her, and pay her money to degrade herself because of that hatred that men have nowadays towards women.
Yeah.
But in turn, she getting paid.
Publicity.
I got that definition.
Go ahead, Doc.
The definition for outrage marketing or rage marketing is a high risk, high reward strategy designed to generate intense brand awareness by deliberately sparking shock, anger, or indignation.
Yeah, man, you talk about that man kill a wife, and he, and talk about that them babies' mother, and it's on every outlet. I drive a lot, so I use radio to stay awake. This jockey's talking about it in the morning, in the afternoon, playing snips of it. Right? All that is marketing, and all that is programming.
that's what the term is called bad publicity.
Yeah.
Right. That's all it is. Same shit.
Well, it's a little more on this.
Yeah.
It says it uses polarizing content, controversial PR stunts, or social norm violations to provoke strong emotional responses, turning outrage into viral, cost-effective publicity.
There you go. Viral, cost-effective publicity because it's very, very cheap to get on these social media platforms and act the fool to get your name up,
Right.
to get certain things going. And this is what 50 Cent does.
Yeah.
You know, whenever he got the power series going on, what he'll do, he'll post a picture about a certain cast member, right? Yeah, man, I'm making fun of this individual.
Yeah.
Just so they can continue, looking at, certain stoves that's coming out. In this case, power.
Trolling.
It's trolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of that shit don't even be real. Like,
No, it's not.
you know what I mean? Like,
Friends.
yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Kanye West did years ago when they brought out they records around the same time. They had a little controversy, but it was just something to get the attention for him.
Yep.
So you're gonna sell the most records.
They both made money off it.
All you Jake, well, not just Jake, just a lot of people go out and buy these CDs. We call them CDs back then. Buy these records to see who sell the most. That basically just increased their record sale because that's what? That controversy.
Yes.
Good or bad. Good or bad.
That's why that way of thought or the way people use social media is they even use that term which is mentioned in that definition, viral. Viral is like if something is viral, that means it's a disease.
Infectious.
It's infection.
Yeah.
It's a degenerate disease. It's taking away something, it's getting you sick. And that way of trying to just get that attention, the way that people are getting attention is through degenerate acts, which is it's having an effect on the people. So whether you believe it or not, when you listening to it, you reading about it, you watching it, man, it's having an effect on you.
Yep.
It's
programming.
Yep.
Go ahead.
This is, and to go back to your point, it's all for money though. This is all for that's Babylon's main way to make money. Is through this life of sin is very profitable. And it's leading to an even more profitable way through these algorithms, which is tailoring to any kind of lust that you have. But it's Sirach 13 and 3 says the rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth withal. The poor is wronged, and he must entreat also. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. No, that's what this man has done with the culture that he's fed. Our people. He's pretty much done with the idea of black culture and ready to put, evacuate, or eradicate niggas. Move them out the way because he's set up. He's done with the old way of slavery. The Negro, Latino. All work is going to be out the door. That's why he's trying to. He's locking the Northern Kingdom up in these detention centers. He's been doing that with the Southern Kingdom through the prison industrial complex, and these drugs that he's been pushing through, the country and the guns, the murder, the music, right? But he's pretty much done with that slave. He's trying to turn the whole nation into slaves. So, through black culture, man, he destroyed niggas.
Yep. Hey, it's basically black culture to destroy the masses, man.
Yeah.
Now the everyday people, they act, they the same vernacular, well, I should say the cliches or slang that they use, Esau used.
Right.
Esau talk about, you got politicians out there talking about they got haters.
Yeah.
So he was able to use black culture as a way to basically push, that low level culture, man. It's just that Jake is the face of it.
Yeah.
Hey, can we get a little bit more of that whiskey sauce?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody else have something?
Yeah, I got something.
Speak on it, bro.
This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. Look at what was so-called Black History Month, right? MLK Day. I had a dream. All of the individuals that Esau allowed, or basically put on a pedestal for us to say, model yourselves after this Negro, after this Latino, after this Native American, which typically is going to be a coon. All right, they have caused Israel to go astray. It says they have turned them away on the mountains. All right, which sheep, they can easily get lost. So if you got your sheep outside out grazing, and you just let them, you just let them go, you just walk back home without guiding them back, they're gonna be food for the wolves, right? It says they have gone from mountain to hill, they have forgotten their resting place. Have y'all ever got, like, even just as for a small moment when you was a little kid, like you might be somewhere out and like you with your parents, but you don't know where they at. You like even just for like 5 seconds, you're like, oh shit, did I get lost? You know that split second. I remember that. Like, you might be at a grocery store. You know what I mean? You might, if you not lost. Maybe your parents know where you at, but you don't see them. You're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? And you just, if your parents ain't actually there, let's say you're at a grocery store, you're gonna be just walking around.
Start crying.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's Israel. The truth. Right? It says, verse 7, all that found them have devoured them. Now imagine if every person you run into, you know what I mean, take advantage of you. You know what I mean? That's how Israel has been led astray. Right? It says, all that have found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. You see, so the reason why, ultimately Israel was subjected to the situations that we're in today, that we're sighing and crying about, is because Israel as a nation transgressed heavily, over and over again, against Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Go
ahead, bro.
Time.
Break it down.
I got you. It's Isaiah 47:6. The point. I said, the Lord said, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. All right. So this is the Lord speaking pretty much to Esau, Edom. All right, the self-proclaimed white nation that's currently ruling over the planet Earth, the wicked that the Bible speaks of, man. And I brought this precept out just to back up the priest Adonai's point. Okay. Also the elder's point that he's been going into in this sermon. Okay. That Esau, Edom is the reason that Jake is the way they are today, man. Esau created gangsters, man. Esau created
strip clubs. He created a massive influx of doors. And he's family men amongst our people, man. Okay? But guess what? How about some house shots gonna come back and correct all that? Okay? And it's gonna be a 2/3 and a 1/3 that the Lord speaks about in the scriptures. It's gonna be a separation of people, man, over the nation of Israel. 2/3 of our people, they're gonna be put to death here in Babylon the Great, man. Okay? 1/3 is gonna be delivered up out of it. So you either gonna be delivered unto salvation, or you're gonna be condemned to destruction, man. Those are the two spectrums that how about your house has laid out for you, man. Okay? But guess what? You're gonna hear it first here at Great Millstone with the School of the Prophets, man. Okay?
That's right. Anybody else have something?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is Wisdom of Solomon 14, and I'll read 25 again. It said, so that there reign in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, privity, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind.
Right. Changing the kind. And now, if you have a 1611 and you look this up in the margin, that word when it says change, when it says kind, it goes to 6. Right? So idol worship leads to what? What you see before you.
Yep.
And here in America, transgenderism. And he's pushing that as a part of the New World Order. Right? That's a part of Western culture. And those various countries that don't align with that ideology, they're ostracized from global trade. Look at Uganda. Right? You had the woman interviewer, forgive me, I forget her name, go and said, so you're not going to allow...
Candace Owens.
No, it was like a British. She's like, you're not going to allow, the alphabet community in your society. He's like, no, that's something that we're not worried about. He's like, she's like, you get yourself in trouble. And just so happened, Uganda just found a huge reserve of gold. They really can't even utilize it on a global level because they've been ostracized because they don't allow freakism
Right.
or alphabet rights in their country. Right. So this man is defiling sex. He's defiling souls.
Yep.
Right. We just went into technocracy and how he's inducing people to bow down to their ideology. Right? And all this is basically, comes from the rulership of the son of perdition, which we're reading about in Second Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Okay? Got some living more today?
God, it says, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages.
Man, disorder in marriages. Right? A man can't be a man and a woman can't be a woman. You can't. The average man doesn't make enough money to where his woman doesn't have to work. Conversely, a woman has to go to work for her and her family to make ends meet. So both parties are giving their family, the worst of them. The man comes home exhausted. He ain't got time to play with your kids. So like you just need 12 hours. You got to do that amount of hours to make it get ends meet. The woman, she's doing it. She got a part-time. She got a gig. Right? You come home, you just want to rest. The kids been watching TV all damn day, and nowadays, oh my goodness, on the internet, watching all types of abominations, man. Being indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Right?
Even little kid shows ain't safe. You know what I'm saying? That new shit. Nah.
Old shit.
Yep.
Yeah, you got put.
That shit was bugged out when we was grown.
I've been thinking that. Go back and
Goddamn cow and chicken. Goddamn Powerpuff Girls to my heel.
Oh, shit.
Heel with his high heels. Johnny Bravo.
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
Oh yeah.
Curly and Cowardly Dog and all that
Looney
crazy
Tunes.
shit. Yeah, it's
Yeah, even Looney Tunes was kind of strippy.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, they didn't have the political correct stuff, so they they would come in and damn mommy singing, Lordy.
yeah. Tom and Jerry.
You gotta get in that you damn cat.
Yeah.
Oh, you get it, boy.
Yeah.
That shit was offensive.
Yeah. That's all I did. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, this
Shit had goddamn Tom talking, here's you is. What shit is this?
Remember that one with the crows?
Yeah,
That-
he can fly. He can fly. He can fly. That was Dumby.
2 or 3.
Yeah, that was Dumby ass.
Yeah, Dumbo.
I ain't never seen them goddamn bugs.
During the time they were doing those minstrel shows and the blackface and all that.
Let's forget it. That happened after slavery, because you had Jake getting into politics, so Esau would just go over there and just spews a whole bunch, basically make fun of Jake trying to use big words.
Yeah. Oh, you seen the in the UK the past week, the Tourette's advocate dude, you had Michael B. Jordan and some other people that it was in the UK. And BBC, they blotted out other somebody screamed out free Palestine. Somebody talked about the shit that was going on with ICE and stuff like that. They blurted that shit out. They cut that out. But when the nigga screamed nigger, but it was an Edomite, but he got Tourette's, so he gets a pass.
He been saying shit.
Yeah. But you got Tourette's.
Yeah, that could have been an actor.
Of course. Yeah, he's
82.
yeah.
He has Tourette's.
Yeah.
You gonna say nigga?
But I'm saying they let that air, but
Yeah.
they cut the other shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was two Jakes up there presenting the thing. You know what I mean? Michael B. Jordan,
Yeah, that one actor.
So it don't matter how successful you are. To Esau, you're always just gonna be a nigga, man.
Right. That was programming.
Yeah.
That was programming to instill in people's mind, hey, these are still niggas.
Yep. Con.
Okay.
Like in Django,
Right.
Candyman, whatever the dude's name was, Mr. Candy, whatever the fuck.
Calvin.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like at first he kind of tolerated it. He was like, okay, this is a free one. Talking about Django, because he came in there and he was like, no, it's a free man. He was like, oh, okay. And eventually he snapped. He was like, man, get this nigga out of here.
Even that nigga beside him, Samuel Jackson's
Yeah,
character
of
was
course.
like, you just a nigga on a horse.
Yeah.
You just like the rest of us.
Yep.
Even though he was trying to free the people.
Thing is, he's so put us down, spending time. We always bounce back and stillness.
Yep.
That's the spirit of stillness, man. Yep. That's the fact that it's going down. That's all.
That's right. Because as the scriptures say, as long as the moon and the stars and the suns in the sky, man, you can't destroy the nation of Israel. And that's through the mercy of the Lord. And that represents our way back. That being Yahweh Shah, man. Yahweh Shah has preserved us through this knowledge that these people are neglecting. In the way of this. We talk about the left hand side of, I guess you could say, the left hand side of social media and all this the internet, right? But also you got the other side of that, which is the pushing out of this truth, the ability for this word to go out. Everybody's heard about the Israelites now. Look at even these Edomites up on major platforms. 2, 4, 5 million views in one night. I'm speaking to Tucker Carlson. Using our talking points to have an intellectual battle or in conversation with these Jewish scholars, man.
Yeah.
So the power of this word is showing itself, and Esau is he got to confront it at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, that's beautiful. We ain't got to. Let's just segue back to that second interest. Because what you just said ties it right back to what we were bringing up.
Second Thessalonians.
That's the second.
God. Second Thessalonians 2, and I saw verse 3 again. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, son of perdition."
Esau, Edom. Fall away first, just losing our heritage. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, and that is worshipped, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself."
He said, so he is God, so he asked God.
It says, "So that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God."
Right, which happened during what? The Renaissance period, iconoclasm. Right, we bring that out in like we said, Second Maccabees.
Yep.
You know, where we paint this basic.
Grecian Empire spoke Greek. They basically, influenced them to, partake in the.
When you look at like how those Egyptian, what they call them, hieroglyphs, different pictures, like say they were had a dark hue to them till Ptolemaic Empire came in, and then it became more paler.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because Esau came in and he was like, shit, I'm Pharaoh now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one that beat y'all. If y'all are in subjection under me, okay, now I'm Pharaoh. So that's where you get, Ptolemy Soter, okay, which he was basically the first one that was basically deified, but that was an Edomite from the Grecian Empire down there in Egypt.
Remember, like we was bound for 1,000 years, we got loose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the Bible say, when they be born speaking lies, we came out that fucking 1,000-year captivity. That's when they came into the Renaissance period, the rebirth. It all started from when they came out of the pit.
Yep. The rebirth of the Roman Empire. Even during the Roman Empire, you still had, Edomites down there, because that was where you had Alexandria, and Pompeii.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? During that time with Julius Caesar and all that shit, going on. So pretty much, man, them Edomites, they've always been big on trying to wash away the history of the lands that they conquered. That's why the scriptures say not to remove your neighbor's landmark, but that's what Esau does. He took away the names that we had when he brought us over here, in the slave ships, okay, and gave us his last names, okay, taught us his language. Or, well, I'll say, yeah, he taught us a language. He didn't teach us he didn't want us to learn how to write and read, but he taught us the language and took away our own language. Okay. What's the assimilation schools for the American Indians?
Yeah.
Okay. So Esau been trying to, iconoclasm. He's been trying to take away our history.
Right. Right. That's it. That's the way for him to set himself up as if he's God. You got something, brother?
Yeah, just going into the fact. This nigga try to be everybody for who he actually is, which are the biblical red Hebrew Edomites. This is Micah the 2nd chapter in verse 2. It says, "And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. That's how this nigga became everybody. That's how he became the so-called Israelis. You know what I'm saying? The Lees, the Ishes. You know what I'm saying? They took the heritage of the true biblical Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Who are actually the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Of course, the scattered seed that may not come looking like them. You know what I'm saying? But those are the true biblical Israelites. Now you got them in the land saying that 30 is the Israelis. You know what I'm saying? The Lees, the Ishes. You know, them 48ers, man. You know, but that's how he did. That's what he does, man. He covets, you know. He sees something, he wants it, and he go takes it. You know what I'm saying? Now we're the Greeks. You know what I'm saying? Well, the actual true Grecians were what? Japheth? Yeah. You know?
The Romans?
Jeff. Yeah,
Right.
the Christians, yeah.
Even though I can't two one that grew up got a war.
Romulus and Remus.
Yeah, they wasn't Edomites when they go into the story. But Esau took them, you know. Yeah, they covered everything. That's why now you have, like, you call them the small hats. You know, they try to do the depiction because, you know, they say, you say their hair was like wool. What do? They get these 2 long pieces of hair and curl them. They try to say, okay, look at our hair as a curl.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Crazy.
Yeah, there's a dog.
Yeah, in the beginning,
They put a header, they put a little antenna in here.
right.
in the beginning, the Lord made Esau to be a vagabond, a wanderer, man.
That's it.
Okay, a people of no real resting place or land.
Right.
The only place that the Lord gave Esau was Mount Seir.
Cain.
Cain.
Yeah, they say call him a fugitive, bro.
Fugitive.
Yep.
He'll be a fugitive, man.
Yep.
I got something, bro. It's Jeremiah 49:10, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. He shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. But that's the point, man. The Lord has made this nigga bare. See, and it's through this testimony, through this doctrine that Esau is getting made bare. He no longer can hide himself. That's why you had Tucker Carlson calling that nigga out, man. You see? Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we know that you're the people?
Yeah.
Well, if we pray and we doing this and doing it, and aren't we those people? No, nigga. No, if I take this brother if I take this, you know what I'm saying, take this elder's wallet and take his car and I'm driving and go to his job, that don't mean I'm him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That don't mean I'm him.
There you go.
That don't mean I'm him. No.
Start trying to smile like the picture.
Right. Right.
Man.
You see? Because prophecy reveals who this nigga is, and it reveals who the true souls of the Lord are. Yeah, right.
They took prophecy. You was big to get fun of our apostle, like Apostle Har some years ago.
Yeah, he was not just,
Yeah.
The Spirit of the Lord had to bring it out. He ultimately knows who it is.
He's confident about it.
Yeah.
He actually believed the scripture.
He's scared this shit go in. He don't want this shit to end. That's why they're trying to find out. Is there another way we can finagle out?
Yeah.
Hell nah.
That's right. You can't go past the bounds the Lord set for y'all. That's right.
Like, you got some more there, brother?
I got one. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 16. Because you read in Isaiah 47, the Lord said he was going to lift up the skirt. You know, he's going to. So these devils are being totally exposed, man. All their lies and deceptions are over, man. You know, everything is coming out. Isaiah 60, verse 2, it says, "This earth is in darkness, these people in gross darkness." Well, all that's being shut down by the prophets, man.
Right.
This is Habakkuk 2 and verse 16. It says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand, which is Yahushua, shall be turned to thee, and shameful spirit shall be on thy glory," man. So everything should be glorious to these people. You know, slavery, and that's why you got DJT going around trying to do Smithsonian and all these different places and trying to take down everything of slavery, man. You know what I'm saying? Things that used to be glorious to them is now shameful to them, man. You know what I'm saying? They've done a lot of madness, man. You know, Derby's dose and you know,
Yeah.
they've done some crazy shit, bro. Like a lot of madness, bro. Now they're ashamed of that shit, you know, book breaking and all the things they did during the time of slavery. Now they're ashamed of it. That's why they're trying to take down exhibits and change shit up now.
Right.
That shameful spirit on their glory.
Imagine you take down everything. Wash the books away. Read that, bro.
This Genesis chapter 4 and verse 10, it says, "And he said, what hast thou done?"
Yep.
The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
Take away all the art, take down all your museum. The blood of the Israelites still crying unto the Lord, nigga. Ain't no way around that. They got to Cain and Abel. That's your ass, nigga. You know, the blood of the people, of the Lord's people is crying unto him, man. He still hear that. You wipe, burn everything, take all the books, take it out of the school. They don't got nothing to do with anything, bro. That's the physical. This is spiritual, man.
And the spirit, the angel, the spirits in the realm. They crying, they in the ears of the Lord. You know, when you gonna avenge our blood? You know what I'm saying? So nah, man, you're not getting away, bro.
Nope. Like that.
Yeah. Well, I just had a quick term. So I just asked a quick question on Google. What are the benefits of faking your own death? Because again, Esau doesn't want to admit his nationality. Well, you think about it on an individual level, what benefits does an individual gain by faking their own death, right? It says people who fake their own death, which says it's called pseudocide, do so to obtain perceived benefits such as escaping legal consequences, significant debt, or abusive relationships. The goal is typically to disappear and start a new life. So that's what Esau pretty much said. Look, I'm going to assume this person's identity. All right, the Edomite like vocab alone. That demon. The Edomites were done away with. They were done away with.
Right. You know.
Okay, after the what is it? The Hasmonean dynasty. You know, after Herod Agrippa, they were done away with. Okay, so if that's the case, then we should be in the kingdom then.
Right.
Okay. So that doesn't make sense. This devil is still here. He's still in power. Okay, but I just want to bring that out, you know. Esau hiding his own identity.
Had his own identity, but the Lord gave him the mark of Cain.
Yeah.
The Lord marked this.
Right.
He can't go nowhere, man.
Right.
Oh, that nigga still wearing that mark to this day.
Right.
But he trying like the elder and the brothers going into earlier. This nigga trying to
Wiggle out.
Yeah, he trying to wiggle out. He trying to blend himself in, trying to get back that metal and trying to disguise himself.
That's why he uses pseudoscience. Yep. He uses pseudoscience as a way to propagate himself as the most significant human being out there. But statistically speaking, I'm smarter than you. I have less crime. You know, look at my family nucleus.
Right.
You know, he says all these things. Look at all the civilizations we built. You know, and it's just to negate what the atrocities he's done on the planet Earth, man.
Right.
You know, we stand on our feet, and now he's in great fear because we had that prophecy, we had that understanding of who he is. Man.
Right. He's the most superior person, but look at the earth, man. Look at the fucking earth, man. And your rulership.
There you go.
Everything died.
Everybody mad. Everybody loaded.
Yeah.
You let our stomach go right out right now. Just let your stomach go.
How you eat hell and you get bloated, bro? Hell supposed to make you sick.
Yeah.
Bro, it's like damn.
That's awesome. So, 2nd Ezra 6 and 18, it says, "And behold, the day is come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled." So they that hurt unjustly was just ruled by Esau, Edom, you know. And the Lord has he's coming to visit and he's making inquisition, like you was talking about, that interview with Tucker Carlson. That's a term. We talk about investigative journalism, where he's trying to get into all the specifics about what these people are actually about. And when you look at it and you align the things in the scriptures and how they will act, you can tell that this man is accused of his brother, putting everything on the Israelites, marking them as to be the ones that's the problem in the earth, but he's really the problem in the earth, and he's doing the opposite with himself. He's the problem, but he's saying that he's the the children of the Most High. It's a little more. It says, verse 20, "And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens the books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. And these things are being revealed. The book we often go into is Revelation. And that those things that veil, like the brother was going to open up, that's the spirit. Isaiah the 25th chapter. That veil of the covering cast man has hidden a lot of these things, a lot of this information, and now it's being revealed in the end for everybody to see. And that's through this unicorn, the word going out, man.
Right. I want to bring out the word token. Says AI overview is in. Token is something that represents or signifies something else, acting as a symbol, sign, or memento. So, like I said, that token is something that we're seeing now. The Lord is giving us these tokens is things for the prophet to see and basically bring out, to reveal. Because the things that are coming out and being revealed is spoken first by what? The prophet. Now they're starting to see these things are spoken. The Lord is starting to make these things happen. Because what? He spoke it through his prophet.
If I can say that token represents our faith too. It's because what is faith? The evidence of things, seen, not seen, but hoped for. Roughly paraphrasing. We and the Lord is coming back to find that faith on the earth.
Substance of things hoped for.
It's a lot.
Evidence of things I've seen.
Yeah, it's a lot. The water. The substance, which the substance would be Lord willing, is us. Which the Lord is found worthy to be received.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Okay. Hey, let's talk about next edifying. Want to give all praise to
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kakudash.
the Pastor Elder. Well, say Tishaki on his toilet. Shalom.